In the interest of time, let's get started. Gauri, you were not there in the previous session, but I hope you have seen the recording.
Sorry, sir, I couldn't hear what you said right now.
No, I'm saying yesterday you were not there in this session, but you have you gone through the recording of module 3?
Sorry, sir, but I wasn't able to.
Okay, I think you should watch that video. Keep it in sequence so that you are able to connect all the things uh, in the sequence and you are able to build this skill gradually. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. So today's session is all about blogging and writing skills. If you remember in session 2, we saw the 4 type of contents that you can create. It could be image, it could be video, it could be text, or it could be audio. So we are today going to look at the text-based skills, the content that you can create. You know, there is a power attached to blogging. There is a reason why people go and write their blogs, and there are 4 reasons why you should do the blogging for your business idea. One, it gives you the platform to share the ideas with the world. Okay, so your blog acts like a personal stage onto the internet. You can share your thoughts, you can share your ideas, any solutions with the people who are not just in your city or in country, but anywhere else in the world, right? This is how small ideas will become the global movement. Second reason is you can build the trust with the audience because when you write the blogs regularly, people start recognizing you as someone who is reliable and genuine. Okay. And you know, trust is the secret ingredient that will turn any reader into a loyal follower and a customer. Third, when you blog, you're able to show your expertise. If you want people to believe in your business, they should know, they should understand your topic very well, right? And the blog lets you explain, teach, and guide all the other people, proving that you know your stuff. Lastly, it will help you attract the customers to your business. A good blog isn't just about sharing the information, but it also inspires the action behind it. When people will read your post, they will get curious about your product, your service, whatever you are offering. They will click on the links that you are providing. They'll they'll start becoming the paying customers. Okay, so it is one of the good ways to generate the leads for your business. For example, if you're selling, let's say, eco-friendly stationery, right? You can write blogs on why eco-friendly pens are the future. You could write the blog on the 5 do-it-yourself ideas with the recycled paper. Now, people who are interested in these blogs, there are likely chances they will end up buying your products, provided you have put it out to the world in a best fashion. Now, when you're writing, there are some rules that needs to be followed so that your writing becomes as powerful as possible. Okay, there are 5 things here that you need to take into consideration. One, you're not writing for yourself. You know this stuff. You are now writing for your reader. So you need to understand your audience. And whenever you are writing, always think who's going to read this. And then you should write that content, be it blog, be it any article, essay, whatever it is. Always use the examples, the language, and the tone which your audience will be able to understand, right? And if you are writing for school kids, you have to use simpler terms. You should not use any of the heavy business terms. But if you're writing for a parent, then it should focus on the benefits for them and for their kids, right? You should always ask yourself, what will my reader going to learn, enjoy, or gain from this post? Second thing, always keep it simple and clear. In the last session also, when we saw um, around the content, we saw when you keep it simple and clear, it is very easily consumed, right? Remember, the online readers, they have a very short attention span. They scan instead of reading the word by word. So it has to be simple and clear, and it has to be catchy as well. You should avoid any complicated words, sentences, any fancy words that that will make the people stop and reread. Okay, you don't want that. Keep the attention span into mind. Always keep clarity more than the complexity. Use everyday language like you're explaining something to your friend. The third thing is you should always use the short sentences and short paragraphs. Always break your idea into smaller chunks. And one paragraph should be approximately 2 to 3 sentences. Okay. When you keep the short sentences, the readers keep moving ahead with your blog without feeling tired. But if there are long sentences, there are likely chances they will feel tired and they'll skip the sentences, skip the paragraphs, and the effectiveness goes away. For example, instead of writing, our business offers unique, eco-friendly solutions designed to reduce environmental waste, you can keep it very simple. We sell eco-friendly products that will help reduce the waste. The same thing can be rephrased in such a way that it is easily consumable and it sticks to your mind. The fourth basics of writing online is you should always add images to make it engaging. If it is only text, there are likely chances people will get bored and they will get disassociated with the writing. A picture or a graphic or a visual can explain the things faster than any long paragraph can. But you should use relevant images, relevant infographics, and you can even have your own drawings digitally or scanned. Visuals help break up the text and it will make the blog more inviting to read. And make sure your images are clear and they are not blurry. The last thing in your blog is there should always be a call to action. Whatever he has read in your blog, what is the ultimate thing he should do? Don't leave them hanging. You're not just posting an information out there, but you want an action out of it. For example, you can seek comments onto the blog. You can direct them to visit the website so that they know about your product and the services. Or they can share with their friends who would need it. A good call to action will always turn your readers into followers, customers, or supporters. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So we saw the 5 basics of writing the blog. Now let's look at what are the building blocks of a blog post. It always starts with the title. It has to be catchy and it has to be very clear. Why? Because your title is the first thing your readers are going to see. So it has to be interesting and it has to be easy to understand. You can use numbers, you can use questions, or you can use strong adjectives. For example, somebody says how to make a cake. It's a very simple sentence, but it's not very catchy. Instead, you can say 5 easy steps to bake a delicious chocolate cake. So it generates an interest. It shows how easy it is. And then people are going to read that blog because they find something very useful coming out in the blog that you have indicated through the catchy title. Once the title is set, then you need to focus on the introduction. Why introduction? Because you want to grab their attention in the first few lines itself, right? So you can start with a question or a surprising fact or a short story. Again, that has to be very much related to the blog that you are going to write. Tell the readers what they will get from your post. Always keep the introduction short. 2 or 3 sentences is good enough. 1 paragraph is good enough. Okay. For example, have you ever wanted to start a business that didn't know where to begin? I felt the same until I created my own eco-friendly stationery store. Right? You started with a question, had a very short story that they can relate to, and then you gave the idea, you gave the essence of your blog, that what you are going to talk in the next few paragraphs. Once you have had the catchy and clear title and you had the introduction that grabbed the attention, now you need to focus on to the body part. You have to explain the ideas with examples. You can break your ideas into sections. If there are multiple ideas, it can be sections and the subsections as well. And each section should have a relevant subheading. You can use the bullet points, you can use the lists, you can use the short paragraphs, but it should always have some example or mini story so that the readers can relate to it. Okay. For example, for a business blog, for your own business idea, it could have a section that focuses on the problem, followed by a section that focuses on your solution, and then followed by a section that speaks about why this solution works. Okay. Once you have given the title, you have grabbed the attention of the reader through the introduction, and then you have explained your idea with the examples. Now you want to get something out from the user, and that's where the conclusion comes into picture, which is wrapping up or summarizing what you had said in the entire blog and then attaching a call to action to it. So summarize the key messages in 1 or 2 lines, giving the crux of this blog, and then end with an action step. The action step could be try this today, comment your thoughts below, check my product here, and like this. Your blogging can be the voice in the digital world. You have to start writing today and you have to share the ideas with the world because your story matters. Now, how can you make your blog from May to wow? There are a few things that you have to do when you are writing your blog. You understood the structure, you understood the basics. What different you need to do so that it becomes a wow blog? One, it should have the storytelling. It should be relatable. People should be able to connect with you, and they should connect with the stories and not just the facts. For example, in the previous slide, we saw around the eco-friendly business, and it says you felt that setting up the eco-friendly business is not that easy. I felt the same until I started my own business. It's a small story and it's very relatable. People get connected to it and they want to read more around that. In the storytelling, always use the real life examples, real life challenges, real life experiences. For example, uh, you might want to convey this thing that our eco bottle is reusable. But then before you convey this idea, you tell the story of how you stopped using the plastic bottles and saved, let's say, 200 bottles from going from trash in a year. And then you tell about the bottle. When you have the story, they can relate to it. Oh, I always wanted to, quit plastic bottles and do something around this. You also struggled this thing and you were able to do something. Let me see what is that different you have done, right? Second thing is in your blogs, always add the visuals. Visuals will add the life to your words. Pictures can be photos, it can be infographics, it can be GIFs, graphic animated images, it could be short videos, so that your blog becomes attractive and it's very easier to understand. Why you should use this? It will help you break up your long text and it will become more interesting. For example, a before or the after image of a messy desk versus your organized desk using your product will convey the idea and people will be able to connect to it. Then the third thing is the questions. When you keep on asking the questions, the readers get engaged and they get the time to reflect on what they have read so far. The readers will keep on thinking about the stuff that you are writing and conveying. It can be as simple as this. What would you do in this situation? Or have you ever faced this problem? Encourage the comments, encourage the interactions, and that could be one of the CTAs of your blogs. Lastly, the personal touch should always be there. You should share your journey so that they're able to see the human side behind your business. Okay. You should always share your why. What inspired you to start this thing? For example, if you're making, let's say, handmade soaps, so you could say, I started making handmade soaps because my skin was so sensitive to the store bought ones. Simple, but the human side brought into this thing. So if you keep these four things into mind: storytelling, right visuals, questions, and the personal touch, your blog will always be interesting and people will say, wow, what a nice blog. On this slide, you can see before and after. Without the visuals, it looks plain text, doesn't uh, attract much of the attention. But if you add the image into it and add the questions and the related things, smaller text, there are likely chances you're going to read one with the image and the smaller text than a lot of text on the left. Okay, now once you have written your blog, you have to take care of SEO. Anybody knows what is SEO? Gauri, Vedika, Vishakha, Ishanya? Have you heard of
Yes,
this
sir.
term? What is SEO?
So I've not heard of it.
Okay. Vedika, Vishakha, Gauri, anyone? All right. So SEO basically stands for search engine optimization. What basically it means is it's like what are the keywords your reader is going to search on the internet to find the content that you are writing. Okay. It's like giving your blog a map so that Google and other search engines can quickly find it and show it to the people searching for the topics you write about, right? You must have used hashtag when you're searching the content over the social media. Search engine optimization is similar to that, right? You can also think of the search engine keywords are like putting a big signboard outside your shop so that customers can see it and they can come to it. Why we are talking about the search engine optimization? Because it is very, very important for the young entrepreneurs like this. More visibility means more readers, which means more potential customers. This will be one of the channels how you will attract the customers to your business. It will also help you compete with the bigger brands online, because online, when you go and search for a particular a nail polish or a cosmetic product, you would see what all options are there, and you might want to read the reviews. You might want to read about their products before you go and purchase a product. Same thing, your customers will also be doing the same thing. When you are offering a certain product or a service, they would want to know more about it before even trying your product or service. And SEO optimization, it works 24 by 7. Your blogs will bring the visitors even when you are sleeping, because when you are sleeping, it's the daytime in US. Somebody might be interested in your services or the product. They would be reading, thinking about buying the product. They'll visit your website. They'll probably put an order, or they'll have the inquiry. They'll put the inquiry on your website to know more about it or do the price negotiation, whatever be it. Now, how you can do the SEO, especially you all being the beginners, you should use the keywords naturally. Keywords are basically the words or phrases that people would type in Google. For example, if you're looking for eco-friendly notebooks, you will search for eco-friendly notebooks. Those are the keywords. And pick one or two main keywords for your post. Use them naturally in the title, in the heading, and throughout your content. Second, add the headlines, uh, the headings, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and if required, subheadings as well. Help by using heading, you will be able to organize your blog. As you saw in the previous slide, when you're writing the body of the blog, you break your ideas into multiple sections. Each section will have its own heading attached to it. So there will be a heading at the blog level, which will be the blog title. It will be only one per post. Then there will be heading 2 or the set of headings that will be connected to the main sections. So you break your idea into multiple parts. In the previous slide, we saw what is the problem, what is the solution, what your product is offering. Those could be 3 H2s or heading 2s. Then the third level of heading could be the subpoints under these sections. You might want to bullet out what are the problems. You might want to put out why this works. You might want to put the bullets around what your solution is and how it is unique. So those will become the third level of headings. Next is the content itself. The content has to be useful and it has to be unique. You should not copy any of the content directly from the internet. Instead, share your own ideas, your own experiences, and own examples. Google will reward the original and the helpful writing. Google is engaging a lot of tools and a lot of technology into it to figure out whether the content is copied or whether the content is unique. And based upon these keywords, it will give you a higher ranking than others. Fifth thing is always have your content easy to read. Again, short sentences, small paragraphs, simple words. Use bullet points wherever needed, or the lists, or bold highlights for important points. These will make it attractive and it will increase the stickiness to the blog. Lastly, add the images with the descriptions. Whenever you are having the images in your blog, first of all, it has to be a relevant picture, and then name them properly. Tell what this image is telling about. For example, if it is around the eco-friendly notebooks, you can say eco-friendly notebook instead of just image tsc00163.jpg. Right? When you have the meaningful name against the images, it will help Google understand your images as well. Right? And when you are writing you blog, keywords is one thing that you have to keep in mind, but always imagine that you're writing for a friend who knows nothing about this topic. That is why you have to keep it simple, helpful, and fun to read. So you understand what is SEO now? Gauri, Vedika, Vishakha, Shanya, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. So we briefly talked about the keywords. So keywords are the words or the phrases people would type in into the search engine, be it Google, be it any other search engine, when they're looking for something. Think in this way: you wanted new shoes which are black in color for a particular function. What would you type in the Google browser to find that kind of a shoe? Whatever you are going to type are the indicators of the keywords that people are going to use to find such a thing. We always use these keywords whenever we are searching anything on Google or for that matter in ChatGPT, right? If you're using the right keywords in your blog, your post is more likely to appear in the search results. That's the beauty. And if they are relevant and matching most of the keywords, Google will always rank you higher, which means more people will be able to see your content and they will be able to learn about your business. Now, in business, it is important to be known. That is why you don't want the 100% conversion rate, which means if 100 people are coming, not necessarily all 100 should be buying, but all 100 should know about your product and the brand. Because when they know about it, they are going to tell to their friends, to their family, to your known ones. And then spreading of the word through mouth is faster and more reliable than sharing of links. Okay. Now, when you're writing your blog, always think like your reader. Imagine your reader is searching online. So you should ask yourself, if I wanted my product or a service, what would I type in Google? Think from that perspective, and then you should write your content. For example, if you're selling homemade chocolates, right? So a typical person would search for best homemade chocolates near me or buy the dark chocolates online. You should embed these words in your blog post so that when they search for this thing, they're able to find your blog easily. And you should choose the words people are actually going to use rather than using fancy words. Think how we do it, how your potential customer is going to do. They're not going to use fancy words, they're going to simply search, tell me the best nail polish brands in India or in Delhi, right? You have to use those words rather than very high-fi words. You have to use the words that the ordinary people will type. Think from that perspective. What I would use, there are likely chances rest of people are also going to use the similar word. For example, if you want to search for water bottle, you will search for water bottle rather than saying hydration vessel. Right? Nobody is going to use those fancy words and this thing. So water bottle, you will ask for a water bottle. Again, when you are designing the keywords, I mean, you are writing the blog, you should have the specific keywords rather than the generic keywords. For example, when you say bottle is too broad and it can result so many results out of it. Bottle could be a glass bottle, it could be a copper bottle, it could be a steel bottle, it could be plastic bottle. It could be bottle for kids, it could be bottle for adults, it could be bottle for sports people. So instead, you should bring in the specific keywords. For example, eco-friendly, reusable water bottle, which is more targeted, and there are better chances of being ranked higher. For example, for our course, right? Business idea, let's assume it was eco-friendly bottles. So good keywords could be best reusable bottles, eco-friendly water bottle, safe BPA-free bottle, affordable stainless steel bottle. Those are very targeted keywords which will tell what you are offering through your blog, and people will be able to land up to your blogs easily. Now, there are a lot of tools that you can use, especially for students who are in 12th class or more. You can use the tools like Google Keyword Planner. This it will give you the popular search terms that are used, and then you can plan your blog accordingly. Or you can use the tool called Uber Suggest. It checks the keyword popularity and the related searches. You can also use Answer the Public. You can see what questions people ask about your topic. All these things, when you use, you will be able to make your blog as attractive as possible. It would be ranked higher. And if you have followed the basic structure, the tone, the visuals, the short phrases, and the CTAs, there are likely chances the user will engage and will get curious about your product and the services and may end up becoming your customer as well. Okay. Tip for the keywords: use your keywords naturally. Don't stuff it too many times in your blog. When you have figured out the right specific keyword, doesn't mean it has to appear in all the sentences, in all the paragraphs. Keep it relevantly into the blog. Google will rank the blogs that read like they are written for humans and not for the robots. That is where search engine optimization is one of the most revered skills in the digital marketing. Those who know how to do the search engine optimization, how to see the keywords embed into the content, their content will always be ranked higher and they will be able to attract more customers to your shop. Now, you know how the blog has to be done, what are the basics for writing, what is the structure, what are the things that have to be kept in mind. The last thing you need to do in your blog is you have to improve the readability. On the slide, you can see without formatting, it looks a big block of text. Doesn't make sense. But if you structure it, format it well, people will be able to consume it in a easy fashion. And it should be fun to read, not a reading exercise. So we saw headings and subheadings. In the previous slide also, we spoke about one at the blog level, which is your title. Then there are the headings for the main sections, and then the headings for the subpoints. So level 1 heading, level 2 heading, and level 3 heading. So let's say carrying on with the eco-friendly bottle business, your title of the blog could be The Story of My Eco Bottle Business. Your second level headings could be Why I Started It, How It Helps the Environment, and likewise. When you break your blog into multiple parts, multiple sections, and each uniquely identified, it gets automatically formatted. Second, you can use the bullet points or the numbered lists. Why? Because lists or the bullet points make the information quick to scan. It's great for tips, steps, or features. For example, when you talk about the features of your eco bottle, you could say, My eco bottle is reusable, it is leak proof, made from recycled plastic. So it gives a quick idea of your product in a easy consumable fashion. Third thing in the formatting that you could do is you can highlight the important words in bold. Why? Because bold words will attract the attention to the key facts, names, or calls to actions. Okay, and you don't have to overdo it. Each sentence doesn't need each phrase in each sentence doesn't need to be bold, but only the relevant key facts, key names, what you want the reader to retain. You should make it in bold. Okay, and it should typically be around 5 to 10% of your text, not more than that. For example, if you're saying our bottle saves 500 plastic cups from going to landfill every year, the key part is the 500 plastic cups that you are not letting it go to the landfill. So that could be made bold so that they understand each bottle is bringing that much impact. The last thing is keep the paragraph short, keep the attention span into your mind. Attention span is smaller. That is why you have to give bite-size information to the reader and keep the stickiness of your blog intact. When you keep the long blocks of text, it is hard to read online. When you keep the paragraph shorts, it is easier for them to read it over their mobile as well, right? Now you could write a paragraph, let's say our bottles are eco-friendly and come in bright colors and this and that. You can write a big 10-line paragraph on this. Instead, you can write our bottles are eco-friendly and come in bright colors. They are perfect for school, work, or sports. Convey the idea very short and crisply rather than writing the whole essay around that. Okay. Again, imagine from the view of your readers. Imagine your reader is scrolling on their phone in a bus. They should understand your blog at a glance. They should not need to go to a library and very focusedly try to read the blog and try to understand what is that you're going to say or you are saying in this blog. Okay. So these are the few things that you should keep in mind when you're writing the blog about your business idea. Any questions before we move ahead?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, all right. So here comes your assignment. Now, this is the blogging challenge that you have to take up. You have to turn your business idea into a blog. Now you have understood how to write an engaging blog. Now you have to do it for your business. So you share your business idea with the world through a blog. Imagine you're telling your friend about it. Make it exciting, make it clear, make it fun to read. Your blog should be around half to one page, which means approximately 150 to 300 words long. It is short enough to keep the readers hooked, long enough to explain your idea. Okay? Start with a catchy title, make your readers curious about your idea. Again, eco bottle business. Rather than saying my eco bottle business, you could say the bottle that's saving the planet one sip at a time. Okay? Then introduce your business idea, what this idea is all about, who is it for, why this is unique. Then tell your readers what issue exists in the world, how your idea can help fix it. For example, plastic bottles take hundreds of years to decompose. My business offers stylish, reusable bottles to cut down on the plastic waste. And then write like you talk. Imagine telling this to your friend. Simple words, friendly tone, and the short sentences. Add the visuals. Your blog should have at least one image or one drawing or one simple infographic to make it interesting. You can use more than one, but it should have at least one of the images there. And towards the end of your blog, it has to wrap up with a call to action. For example, join me in making this planet greener, one bottle at a time, something like this. Okay. If you want to score high, start with the attention grabbing first sentence. Very important. Use examples, mini stories, and the personal touches. Keep your paragraphs short and easy to read. Always ensure that you are not having any spelling mistakes and the grammatical mistakes before you are submitting, because these are the detractors and you should avoid in your blogs reading stuff anywhere besides blogging as well. Okay, any questions?
No, sir.
All right, so here are some tips for blogging like a pro. One, be yourself. Write how you talk. Your readers want to hear you and they don't want to hear a robot. Use simple words, friendly tone. If you can explain it to a friend without confusion, you can write it for the internet. Right? For example, instead of saying our hydration solution optimizes fluid intake, keep it very simple. Our bottles help you drink enough water every day. People should be able to relate to it. Second, keep learning from other bloggers as well. When you read the blogs on the topics you love, always notice what makes them fun or helpful. Why you read this thing? What attracted you the most in this blog? What caught your attention? What caught your curiosity? Pay attention to their headlines, the pictures that they have used, how they have ended the posts. Try borrowing the good ideas, not copying, but get the ideas, but create your own version around that. Always follow 2 or 3 young entrepreneurs or the student bloggers for inspiration. And practice will make you perfect. Writing is just like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. You set a goal that I will write one short blog every week, and you don't have to worry about the perfection in your first draft. You can edit later. With time, it will become sharper. You follow the basic structure, the basics of writing, and the tips for improving the blogging, and you will be able to become a pro in blogging at one point. Okay. You can even keep a blog idea notebook or a phone note to capture the thoughts anytime. Right. Lastly, a blog is a voice online and you have to use it wisely. Right. Your blog reflects your personality and the values. It's again part of your personal branding. So be respectful, be positive, and responsible in whatever you are sharing. Once something is online, it's hard to erase. So you have to post very thoughtfully, right? You might think, oh, I put the blog on Facebook or a post on Facebook, I can delete it later. Yes, you can, but you never know how this is spread forward. So erasing any of the things outside is very, very difficult. So it has to be a very thoughtful action. An authentic voice will build the trust. A careless one will always break it. Okay? Your words have the power, make them count. So that's all for this session. This QR code leads to the LinkedIn page of our NGO. You can go there. We keep on putting the blogs, although the blogs are there on the website, but we do post the links on LinkedIn web page as well. You can see how our blogs are being written. Share your ideas if you feel something different has to be done, or if you find it very interesting. Comment, share, do whatever is needed around. Okay. Any questions before we close? Gauri, Vedika, Vishaka, Ishanya?
No.
Okay, all right. So thank you everyone. If you have a question, use the WhatsApp channel. We can always discuss there. If not, please think about your business idea, do your assignments regularly, and follow the sequence so that you are able to build your assignments in the nice fashion. You are gradually building that skill. With each session, a new skill gets added. At the end of the 10 sessions, you will become a good digital entrepreneur. Okay, good luck. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.